We're going to go over the English for You course introduction. There are 4 sections, the last one being one that you may want to use later on in the course. So if we go ahead and look at the course introduction, read through this, please. There's lots of information that you're going to need, such as the text that we'll be reading, what's going on, what you are being assessed on. Here you have the unit outlines. And we'll go into more detail about each one, but this is something you really want to go through and read. Assessment and evaluation. So the learning skills that you'll be assessed on, as per other courses in schools. Right here we have the assessment plan. So how much Unit 1 is worth, Unit 2, Unit 3, the ISU, and the exam is actually your writer's portfolio. So you'll be collecting some works to add to this portfolio and working on them along the way. I want you to also notice that discussion is worth 10%, and we're going to get to that here soon, but discussions aren't something where you just say, hey, I like your idea, and move on. It's something where you have to kind of elaborate and discuss ideas. Discussing. Attendance. So I mentioned in a previous video, this is a rigorous course. It is suggested a minimum of 5 hours each day, 5 days a week. So if you wake up in the morning at 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, or you can sporadically come back and forth to your work. Sometimes it's good to work on it a bit, leave for a few hours or an hour, and come back and do some more. But I strongly suggest that you dedicate 5 hours, whether it's 2 in the morning and 3 late at night. One thing to take note of is that I could respond to something that you asked. So you have to dedicate the time to be successful in this course. There is a student introduction, but if you have any concerns about your style of learning or if you have had an IEP, please email me privately on any concerns or questions you have about this. There is an absolutely strict late policy. The reason being that this course is a month long. You don't have the time to be late, more or less. You need to hand in things immediately. Now, if you move down to academic honesty, as I had mentioned in another video, each task, each assignment is monitored by Turnitin. And you can actually see the honesty of your submission. And there's an area in the course where you can go over that. But it's like it's a bar that kind of gauges your document that you've submitted. So do yourself a favor and only submit your work and reference other people's work. There are plenty of sources on how to reference, and you'll have time to use the feedback to go over your work. Technical requirements, if you have any problems, you can either email me, you can email this where we are, or you can find actually quite a bit of websites online that can help you out. This report cards part is tentative. I can go into further detail later. So go over that course outline, and we're going to move on. Excuse me. Like I had previously said, go over the tips for success, right? Read through these. And again, don't be afraid to ask me or email me. I'm pretty laid back, and am usually close to my email. So this is a bit about me. Read that over. This is my board email. There is an email for this platform, a D2L email. This email you can use. This email I will check sooner than later. This email is for emergencies. If you have any concerns at the beginning or near the end of the course, or you want to call and talk, or we can have a Google Hangout. I'm pretty open to different ways of communicating. So email me and let me know, and we can chat about it. That's the phone number for the Barrie Learning Center. These are the days that I'm in the office, but if you would like to schedule a meeting at some point, I can always make accommodations to come in and talk or look over your work. Now, this is where you will be making your introduction. So read over this. This is one of your first tasks. And be sure to respond in a meaningful way to the posts of at least 2 of your classmates to get to know each other. And we will go on a bit about discussions and the importance of discussions. To find the folder for discussions, you're going to want to go back to your table of contents and then your course toolbox. It is here that you'll find ways on how to format citations, rubrics for Hamlet or analyzing quotations. And then replying to discussions guideline. I would like you to read over this. This is something that I feel helps students understand the importance of questioning. So I want you to acknowledge what was well done. So if somebody shared some insight on a book, you could start with this and elaborate. You're making a good point. I like that this has happened or this has happened. A brief summary of points. So if they're giving an experience, such as the introduction that we're discussing, you could go on about their experience and then some questions. To move the discussion along, it's always good to pose a question. So you can relate something to yourself. You can think of questions that might help your colleague or your peer. But go over this and consider it for every single discussion. If you simply give one sentence that has no substance or no depth, then I can't include that in your discussion. You're not moving along, you're not growing. So make sure that you really think about your discussions. I would even suggest creating, I use Google Docs all the time, creating a document for every discussion that you're going to post, right? I am running out of time, so I will post a video for personal essay.